Motherfucker Geek Talk Radio.
Here live on Geek Talk Radio, as you can see, South Network. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Cole Little, candidate for the city of Hartford. So, let's get down to it. All right, so we've got here a city of Harvey 5-year. Your executive summary goes into a little bit more detail in some of the things. So what I'm thinking of is kind of just dive into it. Spiel.
I try to cover everything that most constituents want to. And my biggest complaint, their biggest complaint is infrastructure. And that begins with infrastructure and education is my first priority coming in. To everything is about attracting and bringing people to the community, whether it's businesses or residents. So by cleaning up the community like we did this week, it makes it more attractive. And then you really have to dive into safety. Right? So safety, infrastructure, and beautification go hand in hand, and one kind of impacts the other.
Okay.
So as you start to clean up, people have more pride about their location, and then people tend to do nice things like we uncovered a lot of houses. I got a beautiful text from someone. He said I haven't seen a house in 15 years.
Which one is it like?
Soon actually is probably on that. But it allows for people to live safe. However, whatever unscrupulous things that people are doing, now, right? So it's like this whoever then I can see you going in and out of the property. Hey, Mr. Such and such just passed away. You can be more cognizant of what's going on around you. The trees are overshadowing the sidewalk where you can't walk. And it's going to easily pop out bushes to attack you. So those things go hand in hand. The more dilapidated, the more the property becomes unsafe. It becomes unsafe. So you can fix that part first, and then you can move into
That's the money.
the money. I know a lot of people want to. I posted this one on social media. Most of the things that I'm speaking of don't cost part of it.
And how is that? Where's that?
Well, you have to go rich. You have to understand what you're saying. So if all in all, if you're in 10 properties, even if you have a lot of people like to say, oh, inflation is up. So I always say the same thing. That's still a good deal for people. That wants to purchase the house to live in Harvey, that will put tax revenue back into Harvey. Us holding onto these properties does nothing. It absolutely is a dead eyesore, and it's nothing progressive about it. So once that happens, then the education can possibly be affected positively because now we have more money to go towards private lands. We have the lowest property tax collection.
Okay, so let's see. First, so I mean, when you look at that, it's not like don't know. You know, and really get an opportunity to see how
Had a couple pieces of property in Woodlawn, so I helped with that beautification. And I think I bought it for
well, that's you that do flipping.
I didn't want to flip it. I got divorced and I sold it, but I sold it for 300, and that's still. So, but at the same time, it's a difference between what happened in Woodlawn that which Harvard is very good to have versus Chicago. So the University of Chicago helped put in place by giving initiatives to their employees and University of Chicago has taken over Ingles. Not quite completely taken over yet, but they haven't started that initiative in Harvey. I would love to speak to someone about starting that initiative because you would then you would increase the median income and you would also have taxes, right? So then through buying property and then they would pay into the tax. That is, that's the biggest thing. People say we don't have money, but we're paying salaries, and you don't really see a justification for the salary you're paying. And you're looking like realistically, I would understand if I wanted to say, why should I volunteer?
So she's talking about,
Harvey, employees, the municipality, all of that. They're, I don't think Harvey is not there.
well, I mean, I'm quite sure.
I think it's like 95. There's some other parts and bonuses they put it up there. But it's not a real, it's not a real city. So why should you make the same amount of money as somebody or less, whatever? But as Tilly Park or Neighborhood or something like that, you have a low tax revenue. Why should you make this money? It doesn't make sense.
Now, as you know, as a candidate from here, you can come up with some but make sure you are 5 years. Like other candidates may take, but make sure there's a significant piece when it comes to some of this.
Well, I just cut 10 down, and I figured it was that. But in a 4-year administration, you can get everything. More, but at the end of the day, I feel like the first year you will see things change because I've seen it done. I've been a part of it. And it's not anything, so I would say anybody that's been in the city of Chicago and is aware of their problems Chicago and its surrounding cities. Normally, most cities do this for whatever reason. I mean, I can't really. Robbins is a lot better. And so they're cleaning it up. Robbins looks a lot better when you ride through it because it's the first initiative. It's just you got to you feel like you're hard. You know,
That's true. I mean,
you're not doing your Monday through Friday. You're rushing going to work. So when people ride through Harvey, they're not attracted to anything. There's nothing to lure them in and say, oh, I gotta stop at Garrett to get some. No. We don't have a lot of big box businesses. We do have a lot of
I mean, I understand that. So with that being said, why don't we get the mom and pops, those small businesses together, unify them, and say, okay, be a volunteer sponsor some of the initiatives that are going on, some of the initiatives that we're doing, some of the initiatives that you're a part of.
Absolutely.
In that sense of, when you say infrastructure beautification, they are reconstruction infrastructure. Um, how would you?
Meaning, but just for instance, a simple thing um, with a restaurant towards there are groups. He mentioned how basically his business generates cash, right? So if you're in most suburbs and especially downtown, these trash cans all over Naperville, New Orleans, South Holland. There's a lot of things out here. So unfortunately, sometimes people decide to dump their trash in the street.
True, that is true.
And then that is a factor of how it already looks. Again, beautification.
There's no city works in Harvey, in regards to Markham, or city.
And there, I do know that quite sure. So I don't want to speak on it and be incorrect.
All right, all right.
I don't
All
know.
right. So we're gonna pull that back. People.
There's
Roll
people
that-
that work for Harvey. but I
Roll that
cannot-
question back.
I'm not touching it.
All right. I'm not gonna touch it. All right.
I know
Now,
we don't have pets.
okay. I'm trying to, but that's cool. Roll that one back too.
But
Oh no, that's true. Real quick, let's go into have your plan. Okay, you come from the state. What's your background? I know on our one of our first meetings, we talked about going as well.
Right.
Okay. So we're talking 20 years. Take care of the water. How significant is that as you leave? Let's say, okay, let's say, all right, so now, full businessman, that type of background.
yes.
Yeah, we
No, no one's on purpose, not at all.
we don't
Oh.
we don't get a should. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's deep talk. It's deep talk. You are allowed to express yourself. You gotta say something. You are you have freedom of speech.
That's the first one. Misappropriate.
Okay, well, this program is something that is we hear that quite often. All these colleges, the entire country, especially our current. Yeah. Okay, so yeah,
But the difference in real estate and legal. So I think that if we for I just I don't want to tell people that, but plenty of judges, attorneys, just as long as it's really been and I will never come to
all right, baby. Squire Gooden right here, y'all. All right. So let's get back to that
you want something, so here's what Harvard spends a lot of money to every place, but right? You go shopping, there's not too much to shop. Clothes, things like that. But there's no cure, there's no rainbow. There's an offer. So the promenade will bring other communities to market. That would be the move. Now, to be strategic about it, I think that it needs to be in certain locations, like the big city or right before Humboldt. Those are good locations because
Mm.
you have the highway.
Yeah.
So then that's where income people get off the highway just for whatever reason. Oh, and then they stop. When you get out, you're driving a truck or you're on vacation, when you stop your car for gas, you normally get more than gas. You
True.
might get
Yeah,
a
that's
sandwich, you might go eat, you do something other than just get gas.
well, yeah, I mean, of course, especially when you know the gas stations. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
this stuff is stuff like gas. Yeah, like so. Yeah.
Have you been to Buc-ee's?
No, I have not been to
I
Buc-ee's.
guess
I have not been to
go to
Buc-ee's.
Buc-ee's.
Yeah.
They got everything.
Yes. Yeah. I
I,
gotta do
I
Buc-ee's.
never,
I gotta do Buc-ee's. One is.
yeah, I went
Yeah.
there.
I mean, so now going to Buc-ee's is where. Now, what do you got to do?
I went to Buc-ee's last weekend when I was so it's in South Carolina. There's one in Georgia somewhere. It is like huge.
Really?
They have several clubs. They have
Kind of like there's
they,
another.
yeah. Oh no, they make
Really?
they're huge. Just like grocery store. I mean a gas station.
Oh wow.
You can get food. They had Jeep t-shirts. They had Jeep shirts. They have so much stuff to buy. Fruit, whatever.
Okay. Now, if you're saying that, I'm looking at here. Dedicated development management office. What is that? Yeah. And you just mentioned that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really
I was just
don't
thinking,
know
can I
how.
call Bucky's and see if they can come to
Right,
Harvey,
right,
Illinois?
and that's what I was getting ready to say. So, as mayor, would that be, you know,
Oh, absolutely.
because
So,
we have, in Harvey, and these actual gas stations are starting to spread out, throughout the South Florida area. You know, having Bucky's, how would that help? Yeah.
it would- so then that means that those
They
that,
just say
that
step
would,
again.
so you have to change what the norm was. Bucky's would set a different time, and I would set a different time. So they need to be well lit. They need to be clean. They need to be landscaped. They need to be safe. So Bucky's would come out. They would be a brand new establishment. They would have to build it. So of course they would look at it. But then that also gives the city of share for them to spruce up their location, clean it, repay, landscape. It has to be safe and it has to look well. And those are the things that we set up. Bucky's something. Now, maybe somebody don't want to go all the way up to the second house. They don't get somebody. Where do you go? Now, Olsen is right there on the corner of Dixie and Fifth. But there's other gas stations out between these locations.
So that's another thing to look at. Being there of Harvey, what, how would you improve, that type of infrastructure, that type of, safety for people.
Increase police presence. That means police need to live in So I would go forward from the administration. Those new hires, only 50% of them need to live in and then the others maybe get over here. So I don't need it to be 100% with everybody. Yes, good concept. But at the end of the day, these new hires, you feel differently. Life is different. Yeah. Your life is different. You have teachers. Doctors. So the initiative to work with University of Chicago, but the initiative to work with University of Chicago, what that was. So many different things like that. Fire, so if all of these people that work for our live in that doesn't make sense.
That's true. I mean, go say, like you said, firefighters, officers.
You need at least 50, 40 to 50% of that to be residents of your city because you want to get some of the money back. If they live in Knoxville or South Holland, that's benefits them, not us. So that 60 to 80,000 dollars of income is not generated back to the community.
Let's talk about stuff. Now, Miss Felicia was there with us for last Saturday, and she was awesome. She was awesome. We had a little saw.
It wasn't mine. It was somebody else's, but
It's about big,
yeah.
but she was out there. She was out there cutting and
I
pulling
need to
the.
buy I think,
Well, I mean,
especially for Harvey, I think every resident should have one.
I mean, it was handy. It definitely can cut up something. I mean, I have to say, it was definitely a pleasure to see that type of presence, and to see the, how active you were, with us. So we mentioned homes in Harvest, so we know it's not a secret. Everyone knows that there are multiple abandoned homes in Harvest. So,
44%.
so we have 44% vacant homes. This Harvest, 40% how do we, how would you, as mayor, how would you turn it?
So for my hundred, I would probably in the school down there. Imagine buying that house for and all you're responsible for is the taxes and rehabbing. That would bring a lot of people to Harvey. Now, but you also want to give them time for this house to be fixed up. So maybe let's say 6 months. If you can't do that in that time, then it will revert back to Harvey. Then I'll this process. And you will lose whatever it is you have invested because you understand.
Now, a year. So let's say.
Now you can get an extension. Cruel.
Yeah, we're getting ready to say,
Right. No, but you can get an extension. But sometimes people buy stuff and they never do it.
Okay, and that's where would there be a sense of
Absolutely.
so you're saying a year now. How long is that? in the process, as far as living, having the stipulation of all it's not to say that
I'm going for 75%. 25% should be 25, 30% should be right. Because you have to interest, you're paying taxes, you're paying to the schools, you're paying to the community. When you rent, you might not cut the grass, you might not keep the
yeah,
house together.
that would be on the landlord basis.
Yes, it will fall back and you probably have had a horrible reputation for, sometimes the owners don't live here anymore. They moved away or they passed away. So that would, I would really get back into doing this.
Okay.
That would start, well, I would, well, once you start, in the church, I would let all the time we're going to go back to do it. And this will help keep your confidence. If you're not, the house can be years and years without paying.
And I do.
And that's
and,
the point of keeping it up. Now, maybe I can get to the point where we don't have to do that, but right now, the condition that I'm looking at in these houses, some, some people are living in these houses. Even on that block, there are a lot of people that would possibly squat it. But at the same time, the houses are not in good condition. So,
well, I mean, it comes to inspections. I mean, I have to look at cities such as South Holland, Lansing, Lansing. I know that that's what they do every day. It doesn't matter if the homeowner is inspecting.
it,
They're doing it every year.
so, and then I would do another initiative where I would give you 2 to 3 that you can just pay permit fee. Let's say pay your permit fee for May to August or July. You to get this stuff done. As long as it's not, then you need to put something. As long as there's no dryness, then you put something. Get it fixed during these 3 months.
Correct.
Then after that, you will pay the monthly fee or whatever. And I don't really like charging a percentage of the work. I don't think it's really fair because of the community in itself. So if you're doing $100,000 worth of work and then somebody's doing 20,000, yeah, your permit should be cheaper. But just call it like that. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you have a big job to do. If you can't get it done during those 3 months, you pay that fee. Of somebody else. So 3 months goes to you, the other goes. That's it. And that keeps people saving money to make sure you get it done between May and August. It's going to put people on wanting to make sure somebody does it for them. But nobody is holding anybody accountable. That's the missing part.
So did you say that's the major part of it? But we could look at some of the questions you made and go back and say, C, that D, E, F. I mean,
There's
there's some there. We're only into like the seventh letter of the alphabet. In
and Harvey
regards,
probably touches every
you know,
alphabet on the letter.
so if we're talking accountability, you touched on that a bit in regards to what Harvey would need to do or what this new administration. And I say new administration because you said new administration. So let's talk about that. You come there, Harvey, what type of administration. You know, let's not say next to next to I to you what kind of
I think in the administration that comes in with people that not doing for yourself, being keep people. Harvey politics is a very, very, very dominant force. Let's just call it that dominant force. However,
Dominant force. Wow.
but if you look at a community center, why would that be the first thing? Why would you close one community center?
I believe that is a very good question. And that is a question that I'm quite sure that a lot of residents have definitely had. So, you know,
I can tell you, yes.
I'm sure that, you know, I'm sure it's gone through, you know,
And that's the problem. It's a circle. It's a continuous circle. Why don't we ever go in a straight line? So, speaking of that, like, you know, a lot of things that go in a circle. Same thing keeps happening over and over again.
I mean, we've done our research, and you know, we do hear and see there's a lot of difficulties, especially uh, that goes back to the words. You know, that goes back to administration, that goes back to hiring, back to people, that goes back to what you said. Too hard. When you talk about this vision, having this five plan, how can we see that? You know, it looks great on black and white, and but you know, there are people who are visual. You know, I mean, is that something within your campaign that we can put an architecture? You know, is that something that we can see towards?
That's a possibility after all ballots. Try to invest myself. Right now, I have a property. I would really like it to look like this, like, honestly. It's going to be a difference, right? Because Harvey hasn't had anything new. I mean, there's a new city. But that's not
Well, I mean, yes.
so, I mean, so sometimes there's a difference. So, you know, doing a promenade, you know, we want
No, I
it to
mean,
be
I've seen.
attractive. We want it to be, or we just want it to, okay, this looks safe. And the police presence, you know, so like when you leave Smitty's, and maybe even before you leave Smitty's, the police is out there. Now, I'm not saying I don't know. That makes me feel better.
I mean, police presence and police presence is
Absolutely.
definitely
So,
better. Definitely. Wait.
we need to get back to the there are so many ways legally that they have that they have, right? When they tell you that, I feel like it's extortion, right? I just, it, so I feel like Harvey does everything besides what you're supposed to. So at the end of the day, most people are like 3 to 6 months ago. And since then, you know, the parking was only to them in Avatar movie, I think in last 2 or 30, I got out. I think I paid 300.
Oh, I was
I
gonna. I
wasn't
mean,
happy.
I didn't get the different artist.
No, it wasn't happy, but if it was happy, $200 starting.
Mm.
Like that is astronomical. That is too much. But like they want to get this 130 million. We don't do it now. There's no.
True. That is true. You have to be resident. You can't you have to be resident. That's something that we are hearing a lot. And again, you have to understand people who are on the project. We have Nicole Goodman, our candidate for when does the actual when does your campaign take place? It has officially started. Okay.
It's not a couple of depending on how many people own it. It's like around the corner,
That is true. It is a few months away.
but I see a lot of disappointment and a lot of people that are disenfranchised because they're upset with several administrations. And then, so I just had this funny analogy in my head, right?
Mm.
You have an ex and they come back and they say, "You haven't told any part, promise, and you take them back. And people have went through that rigmarole for a while. Some
That'll be our
people understand,
relationship discussion. That'll be
right?
our next.
But people tend to take carbon politics because when I say something, oh, we heard that.
Well, Nicole, you got to think about it. It's
And
not
I
just
know,
Harvey. It's not just Harvey.
but it's not just Harvey, but Harvey is heavily affected by Harvey. Harvey is not the same. We're like at the bottom. We don't need anything positive. So when you're in a distressed community such as Harvey, which is not really distress, it's mismanaged. But again, the people don't want to hear it. So it's like, hey, who are you? No, no. I heard you. I trust the first one. I trust the second one. People have said, he sat on my couch and conversated with me, did this and did that. When I go talk to people, and I love talking to people, everybody has a story. It's different. Some favor this administration, some don't. Some just, it's all different. But everybody has a story to tell, and it's not nice. Somebody should have a good story. I haven't found them yet, but I want to find somebody. Right?
All right. So we're looking at expected outcomes, possible outcomes in regards to this fight. How, the, the expected outcomes. Let's go there. To just wrap it up and give some transparency. For what the
I expected outcome, honestly. And I'm but I'm going to shoot. My last way better,
Okay.
100 times better than what Harvey is. Now, I mean, the first year I felt like I can't fix it. don't feel there's some there's good that's sometimes you can't get that because you don't know what so she indicated that I think that the books together. I'm hoping that is true. Well, if it's not, you leave a lot of work for the next and I'm not touching it. I'm gonna let the state come in and do it because I can't read the books, right? So when I what I see is and what she said that was background to me is that there was a fire, they had the books, I guess she ate. So if there was a fire, I can barely remember yesterday. So how can you account for 8 plus years and you hardly can speak? Yes, you've been on the board, but how accurate, right? So I can't come in as a new administration and say what you all spent that money on. Only you know. And whatever misappropriated funds, how can I or anybody else that comes in can look at that? That that is really something. I would just let the state come in audit of everything because you're going into such a negative brand when you step into this business of politics and farming, but at the same time, there's an agenda that has to be met, and those books have to be exposed. They have to be right. They have to be legit. You need to, sometimes there's mistakes, we all make it. But at the end of the day, honest tools too. So we have to make sure that our money is wise.
Question. $130 million. Give me an understanding.
I just have this beautiful idea. I'm not an attorney yet. So we can represent that. But
It just gloss over.
yeah, I'm going to keep this to myself. Um, again, tax revenue and having, you know, tax revenue when you're making money, you can pay your bills. Harvey's not making enough money to keep me with the
And that was a discussion that we had on Saturday. We had a discussion. Discussions that it actually came up about pretty much that was what was said. So again, ladies and gentlemen, you've got a candidate for the city park. It's a 5-year plan. And I've gone through the plan. I've worked with staff. And
What did you find? Did you find anything in there that you didn't like?
I mean, I can't go into that in that sense. Y'all see she's trying to put me on the spot right now. But I mean, for us here, for us here, definitely, it's an amazing. It's something that you know, it's not an overbearing or overcast.
Mhm.
It's something. It is laid out structure. That's one of the things I that laid out structure. So that for me is awesome. I gotta say, what I dislike or anything of that sort, I really can't see. What I would have disliked had it tasted in my mouth.
But I
So
do
your
know
breakdown was excellent. And that
because I've done it, I've lived through it.
so that's the
The
message that we
experience,
want, right? That's the message that we want.
yes.
Again, this is the message that I want to reach out. It's the fact that there is
I think I'm the only one who put a plan. But I did not want to close it with that vision. I spoke to a young lady in the private group, and her message to the group was that after I have a question, did anyone else get a water bill of $3,000? And I told her I would tell her story because what she also indicated, she said in just 1 month, according to the next bill, it would be 90,000. And then they told me he is now, what I want to speak to is I have water issues. These water issues that are coming up, you all really need to advocate for yourselves. Help me advocate for you as far as, but me representing, but me representing 20 people that have told me that they're not having some type of that they don't have water, or their water bill has been from 800 to 500. Now, her bill, so it's never she got her fixed, and there was no usage. But they told her, what does that tell you? There is no leak, right? You go two hundred
I've
dollars
never
bill,
heard of a leak, cost
right?
$3,000.
But
I'm sorry.
she said it would be
You can't
great.
even spend that type of money on a weekend in
But
Chicago.
she said it would be great.
So
And
they gonna go up another, like 8,000.
and I have heard of people, and I have spoken to someone that has paid $23,000. So
So what? I mean, was it a grocery store? Was it
no, of the house.
what? I mean, was
It
the
must have
house?
been draining all the water from Lake Michigan or
I
something.
mean, was that it was an amusement park house or something? I mean,
A
I'm just
water
saying.
park.
I just it was a water park
Maybe
house.
she has a water park in her backyard.
I don't something there.
But if you really, really need to get some water bill, send me a message.
Y'all heard it. Y'all heard it. If you want to get help in with your water bill, send her a message. Borough candidate for the city of Harvey. I am a boy trying to say uh, and we definitely are going to have her back on the show. Yeah. Soon, just to kind of keep up with again, we are not opposed to anyone else coming on to the show. Running for the department, here, and have, I'm not going to say hash out, but talk about what your issues are. You know, and so at the end of the day, this is going to be up to the residents. I say this for the residents as an understanding as a Irish. When I vote, I'm voting to hire. When I hire you, you work for me. At the end of the day, I have the right to say, you're fired. So when we go to vote, we go to put, the signature and everything that's put in the office. We go to bring in the words, ultimately. That's, you have to go out and understand one thing. Your vote, our parents, Harriet Tubman did not free the slaves. On one ground railroad for us to say, I'm not going to vote. No, you have to vote because voting means that it's going to exercise power. They force us to exercise our power. Our power is in our vote. Again, our power is in our vote. They work for us. You don't work for them.
Yes, and over 7% of the community election, and the men vote significantly. So I already made a video for the men out there. You need to come and vote. Your voice is need it to be. We can't advocate for you if you don't vote.
All right, everyone. This is your boy, John Say. Back again. Deep Talk Radio, Urban Regional Media Network. We are out. Peace.